Hello, my name is Stephanie Elko Thomas, a fourth-generation Rusyn American. This video is brought to you by the Carpatho-Rusyn Society. Enjoy!
Now we see that Slovaks and Rusyns emanate from two different genetic pools of people. But this, I think, maybe makes it a little clearer. Those two pools of people not only come from different genetic pools, but they linguistically develop differently as well. On this map, what you see is the ethno-linguistic distribution in Central Europe at about 900. And all those that are pink territories are East Slavic languages. All those that are orange territories are West Slavic languages. What this means is that the West Slavic languages, in terms of syntax, grammar, are more similar to one another. Likewise, the same thing for the East Slavic languages. So we look at the West Slavs, and who do we see here? Poles, Czechs, Slovaks, and then directly north of the Czechs in what is today Eastern Germany, Lusatian Sorbs. These four groups are West Slavs speaking West Slavic language. Who do we see further east? We see Belarusians, we see Ukrainians, not even on the map because they're so far away, but East Slavs, Russians, and then we see there directly to the east of the Slovaks, Carpathian Rus, the Rusyns as well. So one of the distinguishing factors between Slovaks and Rusyns, we already know that they are genetically different. Now we see they are linguistically different as well. Slovaks speak a West Slavic language, Rusyns speak an East Slavic language. But many of you will say to me, well, wait a minute, I don't understand it. My grandmother's a Slovak and she understood her Rusyn neighbor, or vice versa. And the answer to that is, of course they did, because if you look here at what is today Eastern Slovakia, what you'll notice on the map is you see the orange Slovaks, the pink Rusyns, and then look at those areas that have all the lines in between them. These are ethnically mixed territories. Rusyns, Slovak, Gypsies, Germans, Jews, Hungarians, and you can see how that ends up being a very large portion of the Eastern Slovakian territory. So East Slovaks were in contact with Rusyns constantly, and the languages influenced one another. So much so that some dialects, some of the Sadish dialects in Sadish County, 40% of the words in the Sadish language are actually Rusyn words. Likewise, the way in which the language is utilized, Slovak, for instance, has accent always on the first syllable, influenced by Hungarian, but East Slovak is not spoken that way. East Slovak can have that accent fall anywhere, and that's because of the influence of Rusyn language on the two. So if you come from an East Slovak family or a Rusyn family and you could understand your Rusyn and East Slovak neighbors, you should, because they are the intersection of West and East Slavic language. Now, what are one of the other things that Rusyns and Slovaks have in common? I always tell people one of the things that's really common to the both of us is our Hungarianness. And this comes from the fact that both Rusyns and Slovaks lived in the Carpathian mountain chain under Hungarian government and Hungarian landlords. So Hungarian culture had a very strong impact, as did Rusyn and Slovak Slavic culture on Hungarian. Nothing really, when it comes to culture, is static in life. People adopt and adapt from one another those things that they feel enrich their day-to-day life. And in fact, one of the things I jokingly say is what Rusyns and Slovaks have in common in our Hungarianness is all the really cool words that we share are actually Hungarian words, like parabok, which is the single young devil-may-care man, or the betyar, who is the more elderly but nonetheless man who enjoys life, or the balamuta, the person who causes trouble, or the very famous hunsut, which is the person who is kind of devilish in nature, or our palachenke, which we get from the Hungarian palacenta. All the really neat words we have, we somehow incorporated into both languages from Hungarian. Here's to give you some sense as to how Rusyns and Slovaks together fit into what used to be Austria-Hungary, which was our homeland. And in fact, many of us will talk about our grandparents and our great-grandparents coming from Austria-Hungary, because at that time, indeed, there was no Rusyn homeland, there was no Slovak homeland as political entities. And here you can see that very same gray territory I talked about being Rusyn ethnographic territory is overlaid on the map of Austria-Hungary. And so you can see all of that area that is Rusyn falling between the Austrian Galician section and then the Hungarian south section. And then directly to that area to the west of there would be the Slovaks. Now, Slovaks and Rusyns come together in eastern Slovakia, and they came there for a very important reason. And that was that this territory, this Carpathian Mountain area, up until the 1300s had a really interesting name. It was called No Man's Land. And it was called that for a reason. Nobody lived there. It was virtually depopulated or very low population. And the Hungarians, who had come through the Carpathian mountain passes to the Danubian basin, realized that if they could come through those passes, so could other Asiatic tribes. You know, if you're not aware of it, Hungarians are not Slavs. They speak a Finno-Ugric language. Their language is closer to Finnish, Turkish, or Estonian than it is to any Slavic language. So it's not mutually intelligible. And they come originally from Central Asia. When they came and settled that Danubian area, they realized that other Asian tribes could come. And in fact, if you know history, they did. The Tatars came through here in 1250. And there was this constant flux of Asian tribes trying to work their way into Europe. How do you protect yourself if you're the Hungarians? Well, what you do is you invite other people to settle the Carpathian mountain passes so that when Asian tribes come, they're there first and they can get word to you and you can defend your territory. And so they invited these people, Rus from the east, Vlachs from the south, Slovaks and Germans from the west to settle what is today eastern Slovakia in the Carpathian Mountains. And each of them were given certain rights in which to do that. Most of them were given what are called Magdeburg law rights, which exempts them from paying particular taxes or giving them particular pieces of property. And all of this was found to be beneficial by peoples who were leaving other parts of the world. Rusyn and Slovak migration here you can pretty much see. If you look at the arrows here, the blue arrows show Rusyn migration and how it comes from further east in what is Ukraine, settling the slopes. The white Croats that we talked about, the indigenous ancestors of Rusyns, are in the red circle here, and they're moving a little bit west. And then here we have Slovaks from Trenčín and Nitra and other western settlements coming and settling the Carpathian Mountains.
Hi everyone, thanks for watching our video brought to you by the Carpatho-Rusyn Society. My name is Stephanie Elko Thomas, a fourth-generation Rusyn American born and raised in northeastern Pennsylvania. The Carpatho-Rusyn Society is a non-profit that exists to perpetuate the living heritage of the Rusyn people. CRS does this by sharing linguistic, historic, genealogical, and cultural knowledge. To learn more, be sure to hit the subscribe button below and follow us on Facebook and Instagram. Also, don't forget to visit our website at c-rs.org. Thank you.